All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday afternoon. Talking some baseball. Little three-game early slate. We're sweating out plenty of runs. Man, if you got the right pitching, Kyle Freeland, I don't even know who else you wanted at pitcher, but you definitely didn't want no Giolito. That game's going off. But 10 games on the main slate, DraftKings and FanDuel, 7:05 Eastern start time. Gyiraszin, how we doing today?
Well, not too bad. We got us a nice little warm day over here in Michigan. Can't complain. Just be better if I was out golfing, but that's not the case. We're going to dial up some winners, see what we can do. We talked a little yesterday about the Phillies and Twins, and that's pretty much what you had to have yesterday. They came out with that big first inning, put up that 6-burger, and then after that, it was kind of like a boring slate pretty much till the Twins decided to nuke at the end. And how bad is that A's bullpen? Man, it's just terrible. And that park, too, man, it's just been giving up all kinds of runs. So, I mean, to me, that's almost taking over for the new Coors Field, in my opinion, title. So, but yeah, interesting one. We had one yesterday. It was kind of really ugly at pitching. It ain't much better today. We only really got a couple options that I really think that stand out. But, yeah, we'll get to that. But, yeah, I guess can't complain. Got a little sick puppy dog at home today. That's why we're having the show a little early. I appreciate everybody, dealing with that. I got a emergency appointment today that I had to have at 3:45. So appreciate everybody jumping in here a little early, but hey, we're going to get some winners and we're still going to keep us in that winner circle. That tweet that goes out every week with all them winners title, man, it just keeps on coming every week. It's good to see. Man,
baseball's been on fire this week for sure. Shout out you, shout out Nades, shout out to the team, projections, the tools, all that. So many big wins Monday, Tuesday. So we'll look to keep it rolling. Yeah, he also needed the D-backs yesterday. Kettle Marte, Corbin Carroll, the 30-plus pieces you definitely wanted on your team. Willie Castro. The Twins, they're going to be pretty chalky again is how I see it. Like a broad slate overview. Looking at SaberSim right here, you mentioned pitching is not great. Chris Sale, though, does lead the slate in terms of projection, in terms of ownership. I do think he is the chalk. After that, we can see only one other pitcher projected for over 15 points. That's Nick Petta. He is 10K, though. 10K, 9.8. After that, nobody projected for more than 15. I have it, so I hid any pitchers projected, I think, less than 8.5. But, man, is it gross. So we'll get right into it. No time to waste. Again, 10-game slate. Do hope your dog gets better. Praying for him or her, praying for you guys. But let's talk pitching. We'll talk an hour for this slate. Get on out of here. Nick Pivetta, Chris Sale, Mick Abel, Noah Cameron, Merrill Kelly, Kyle Harrison, Clark Schmidt, Jose Berrios. That's who we're working with, 8K and above. Take it away. How do you see the upper tier?
Yeah, we can start with Berrios. I mean, he's just he's too up and down for me. He gets a really tough matchup here with Philly. I actually prefer Philadelphia. Berrios right about league average, 22% strikeout. He has been walking. His walk rate's up a little high. It's almost 10%. But, I mean, he's up and down. 9 Ks one game. Next game, he gets 3 Ks. You know, he gives up 2-3 earned runs, and then he gives up 5. So I'm just going to stay away from Berrios. I mean, even on a thin pitching slate today. Clark Schmidt now I think is interesting. Cleveland's been getting up a little bit more Ks. Schmidt's been, I like where he's at with his pitch count, right around 100 pitches. I think Schmidt's interesting. I think he's got a good win equity, 23% K rate. Little skeptical of his walks. He can get in trouble with his control. But especially on FanDuel, I think Clark Schmidt stands out. He stands out, too, over there on DK at only 8,200 if you're looking for a little bit of help with some bats. But I think there's some other guys we'll get to down below that can help us with that, too. Harrison, against the Padres, not really too many strikeouts. He's just not – I think it's a little risky. I think he's in play, though, on FanDuel, actually, a little more so than DK. I'm not too sure about him over here on DK just because he's got Schmidt just right there below him at 82. which I'd rather have. Now, Merrill Kelly gets a tough matchup here against Atlanta. I think I'd rather pick on Merrill Kelly than use him here in this situation. Cameron, that strikeout, I mean, he looked good in the minors. He just hasn't put it together here in the pros. He's got 16% K rate. St. Louis has been hitting the ball. They've been looking pretty good. You do like to see Cameron did get up to 92 pitches his last start. He had 82, 81, 79 before. So I do like he got a little bit more of a stretch there, but I'd like to see it a little bit more out of Cameron before I pay almost $9K for me on DK. Abel.
And let me interrupt you real quick. That's my mistake. So 2 weather games to look at. Actually, 2 weather games. So that Kansas City St. Louis game that you were just talking, that's why I wanted to interrupt. Roth has it orange. Orange is concerning. So right now, seeing orange, I'm not sure we can play that game. We'll talk like we can play all of them, but just keep that in mind. So 2 games. Kansas City St. Louis is the first. The second, a little better. It's yellow-orange. Still some orange on there, though. Texas, Tampa Bay Rays, as you can see right here. I mean, man, Tampa's been really hot, a lot of rain pretty much for the past month and a half. So, again, pitchers-wise and hitting, KC, St. Louis, Texas, Tampa, we're talking like it plays. There could be possible weather concerns that you have to jump off. Always follow Kevin Roth. And his Twitter is updates on Roto Grinders. It's completely free. So just wanted to interrupt. Sorry about that. Keep it going.
No, yep, that's definitely something we need to know. And then just moving up the line there with Mick Abel. I mean, he's a prospect come up his last start. He had 84 pitches, looked really good. 32 points he had. I think he had 9K. Yeah, 9Ks. But I'm just not sure about picking on this low strikeout Toronto team here. So, I mean, the strikeouts that Toronto has, I mean, you might see a little bit at the back, but nobody's really even over 20%. I mean, you got Clement 14, Guerrero 15, Bichette 16. So I just don't like the strikeout upside for Abel, even though I do think he's a little bit of a wild card there, just because he's a little bit more of an unknown. He did have a good start the last time. So I think he's more of a tournament risky play for me just because the upside isn't there. And then we get up to the top 2, which I think are going to be the chalkiest 2. I think you're going to see one of these 2 in probably everybody's pairing here tonight. So you look at the 2, Chris Sale is popping a little bit more on a lot of the optos when I've been fooling around with them. But, man, that Arizona team just does not have the strikeouts that I would want to see. I mean, you're sitting here looking at the strikeout percentages. Ketel Marte, 13%. Perdomo, 6%. Carroll, 22, a little bit over league average. Naylor's 13. Gurriel, 10. Moreno, 14. I think it's a really tough matchup for Sale in this spot here. But, I mean, he's Chris Sale. I mean, he's I wouldn't say he's getting to the point where he's matchup proof, but this is a very, very tough matchup. I mean, his pitch counts there, he's been up in the hundreds. We like that. But when you compare him to Pivetta, I just think Pivetta has a higher upside against San Francisco. So for me, I got Pivetta ranked a little bit higher than Sale. I prefer Pivetta. I actually think Sale probably will get a little bit more ownership too. I think Pivetta is a really good play over on FanDuel because I don't think too many people are going to want to pay up for him. But for me, it comes down to those 2. I think it's Pivetta, Sale, and then I'd throw in some Clark Schmidt in there. But that's really what I got above 8K. Yeah,
I'm with you. I mean, pitching's really rough. Almost every team will start with at least one of Pivetta, Sale, like you said, Gyiraszin, and then go. I mean, it depends. If you're paying up for bats, they're going to go somewhere cheap. If they're paying down at bats, it's easy to fit Pivetta, Sale. I think that's a very easy pairing to do. I think it's by far the best pairing. Talking some K props on this slate, not too many good ones as you'd expect, with a lot of low projected points, but Sale leads the slate, 6.5, minus 120 on the over. Pivetta, 6.5, minus 160 on the under. Cade Povich, who we'll talk about, who's below 8K, and I do think we have him as the 3rd highest owned pitcher on the slate. He's 5.5, minus 125 on the under. Zebby Matthews, 5.5, minus 120 on the under. Then after that, let's see. I'm just going to say 4.5 juice on the overs. Shane Baz, Merrill Kelly, Jose Barrios, Luis Ortiz, and Clark Schmidt. So there we have right there. Clark Schmidt. Oh, let me start by salary. Clark Schmidt, Kyle Harrison, who I do think he's 4.5 juice on the under. but I just love the ballpark. Like Logan Webb pitched the gem on Monday at kind of low ownership. On a slate where I don't think we need upside, give me a guy that's pitching in Giant Stadium. The weather's solid pitching weather. His pitch count right here, 86. It's not great by any means, but when you're sorting by pitch count on this slate, outside of Chris Sale, that's the reason I like Clark Schmidt. We'll get to there in a second. But all these guys, like pitch counts is a concern for a lot of these folks. So at the end of the day, at 9% ownership in that ballpark, he can get me 15, 16. That could be enough. So I would keep him in the pool. I would cross off Cameron. I would cross off Abel. And then I would go, this is how I look 8K and above. Clark Schmidt, I think, is definitely better than Gyiraszin. I could see something like Clark Schmidt 21%, 20%, and Kyle Harrison like a 7-8%. So again, if he's a third of the ownership as a direct pivot on chalkier teams, he'd be the guy I'd go to up above. Now let's go 8K and below. Again, a couple of the ones I mentioned, K-props, 4.5 juice on the over. Shane Baz, Zebby Matthews, Luis Ortiz. I didn't say Jeffrey Springs. No Jeffrey Springs. And this guy down here, Cade Povich. I do think, as we have projected right here, Cade will be the highest owned pitcher 8K and below. It's very easy to go one a Sale Pavetta, 2-pitcher site. When pitching's gross, plug in a 5,700 guy. You can do whatever you want with bats. So just know, you can't eat chalk bats. Go Povich and one of those two guys up top. However, can you make a case for any of these pivots down below? Are you going to play Povich chalk on a 2-pitcher site? I'll say my favorite, I think, is Zebby Matthews. And again, I don't love the ballpark by any means, but if he's going to be 10% with the solid K-prop and a pivot kind of from Clark Schmidt right here, Shane Baz going to maybe get some ownership if Roth gives the green light. I think Zebby's my favorite. Again, Povich, point per dollar, grades out the best on the slate. But take it away. Talk a little bit about the Sawyer Gibson long dude for your Tigers too.
Yeah, he's just coming back off an injury, so I don't know how long they're going to let him go. I think they may keep a short leash on him, from what I'm understanding. I wouldn't doubt if he only goes probably one time through that lineup. But what you're talking about there with the guys under 8K, I mean, the names you were mentioning there in the strikeout prop, I really like Zebby Matthews. Actually, he's pretty much would be my favorite down below. I mean, just kind of looking into him, he 34% strikeout percentage so far this year, which we like. I do like the fact that he has good control. He did go 94 pitches his last start. I mean, he gets an A's team that is just absolutely horrible, which, I think the win equity is there for him. I do like the fact that he went 7 innings last time too. So especially over there on FanDuel, but get that quality start. But I think Matthews is probably the most interesting to me. I do like Povich too against that Seattle team. He's been up and down a little bit. His last start didn't do all that well. Did give up a homer, 5 earned runs, but I think against the Seattle team, he's got himself a pretty good matchup there. But 24 Ks in his last 14 innings. So I think,
how often do you have the lowest price pitcher on the slate with the third highest K prop on a big slate?
Yeah, 5,700. I mean, he literally opens up all the bats for you. And I think what you said is pretty much true. You're going to see Cade Povich, probably one of the highest owned pitchers. He'll probably be in the top 3. But every time he's going to be paired with Pavetta and Sale. I think the Povich and Sale combination is going to be the most popular. I would go Povich and Clark Schmidt.
That's different. Yeah.
You're going to be different. Now you can literally load up the Yankees and Dodgers if you want. You know what I mean? I mean, the Twins are so cheap that you could probably finagle a lineup too with Sale and Pavetta. I mean, because the Twins are cheap as hell, especially for their matchup they're in. They don't get like a Coors Field bump in the salary that we've seen across the industry in different years. But I think Povich definitely stands out. Pretty much everybody else down here. I mean, you could talk about Shane Baz, but man, he just hasn't been himself. It doesn't seem like, the strikeouts have been there. I know his strikeout percentage down a little bit from last year, but I'm just a little bit concerned about him. We also got some weather concerns in that game too, which we'll have to keep our eyeballs on. But for me down below, it's pretty easy. It's Povich And then I would definitely be interested in some Zebby Matthews. So, but I think
no one else?
Povich is going to be pretty popular.
Take an X on your Sawyer, Gibson, Long. Look, the pitch count, Saber has it as well. It sounds like they might even be bullish on his pitch count at 70. You're saying one time through the order, that could be like 45, 50.
Yeah, I'd lay caution to that.
Yep.
I definitely lay caution to that.
So none of him.
I mean, the Tigers then pitch hit fucking Kerry Carpenter yesterday after he hit 3 home runs in the 6th inning. I still can't believe that crap. So, but yeah, I think that pitching's pretty easy today. I mean, if you want to step outside the box and play some of these other guys, I mean, there's some decent pitchers in some bad spots, like Griffin Canning. You're not playing him against the Dodgers. We can't do that. No. I mean, there's just some spots that I just don't like.
I don't think I want to think about it before I really say it. There's no K prop on the slate, but the Jeffrey Springs, the direct leverage off the chalk, a pivot off of chalk Povich in the lower tier. Pitching's weak, so I would take 14, 15 for sure. That would mean that the Twins probably bust. Can you make a case for him? The guys I have left is, again, and I agree with you, the Shane Baz might not even be in play because of weather. I would just naturally play him or keep him in my pool, though, due to solid K prop, solid pitch count, and right in between Clark Schmidt and Zebby Matthews that'll all get ownership. So I would keep him in the pool on a bad slate. But what about Luis Ortiz? K prop 4.5, juice on the over. Does get this Yankees team, though. Springs, Emerson, Hancock. How would you rank them? Would you play any of them if you had to play 20 teams or less?
Probably not. No, I try to get different. I try to get different at some bats, to be truthful with you. Yeah. I mean, I think I would, I think there's enough there's enough chief pitchers down here too that you can mix up your bats and if you had 20 lineups, you could have an array of different, of different stacks if you want, just because of the broad range of the pitching salary. I mean, we got a $5,700 pitcher, like you said, it's got the third highest K prop. So, I mean, he's going to be fairly popular, I would assume.
No, he will. There's no doubt. I wouldn't be shocked if he was higher than Pivetta. I do think the most popular pairing is Sale and Povich. I think if you're playing Povich, I almost don't even want to play the Twins with him. It's kind of how I'm looking at it. Now, I say that, though, and I'm like, man, you can easily go Pivetta, Sale, and play Twins. So maybe I just don't want – I would want maybe one max of Pivetta, Sale, Povich if I'm playing the Twins. I think that's – if I was playing 3 teams or less, that's a hard rule I would do. Maybe 10 teams or less. It is such a big slate. Ownership gets spread out a bit, but the Twins are just so cheap with the highest total on the slate. I mean, Oakland, their bullpen's awful. All the salary in the world to work, like pitching's bad. You can easily go Pivetta, Sale, only 2 pitchers priced above 15. 5-man, the highest team total offense on the slate, and still be fine. I just would try and get away from that build on a 10-game slate for sure. So that's all I really got at pitching. I would leave Ortiz, Springs, Hancock in play. Like, I like pitchers in Seattle. He's at home. Baltimore's team total is not great. Jeffrey Springs, direct leverage. Luis Ortiz, no one's going to play him. I mean, look at that ownership. And for a guy that's 4.5 K prop, minus 150 on the over, and I think the Yankees might get, probably not that much ownership. But yeah, I think this is how I look at the pitching pool. Shane Baz might not even be able to be played because of the weather. And yeah, I think that's all I got at pitching. Anything else, Gyiraszin, before we talk about some bats?
No, like I said, I think Povich is kind of like a key to the whole slate, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I mean, he could either open it up for you for your bats, and then if you fade him and he doesn't throws up a stinker, then you're going to be ahead of probably 25% of the field, I would say. So, yeah, he's definitely the key to the slate today.
Yeah, not every day the cheapest pitcher tied for the third highest K prop. What's going on, Robert? Haven't said hi to people yet. Robert, Lyle, Ricky, no stop. Put me in, coach. Hope your guys are doing well. Yeah, so that's we mentioned. So Roth has this one yellow-orange, and the first, like if it was orange-yellow, that is more concerning than yellow-orange. Sounds like, as a general rule, we need to So it sounds like we won't really know. Like with Florida, like you need to get a lot closer to game time. He says he finishes it off. I'm cautiously optimistic. So right now, again, way too early to call, but we're talking like all the games played. The most concerning game on the slate is Kansas City and St. Louis. We didn't love pitchers on either side of that game, but that's just straight orange. So that game could get canceled. Those are the two weather games on the slate. It's too early for me to really know about Shane Baz if he's in play or not. Just follow Kevin Ross, weather report, and all of his updates. All right, again, like button, subscribe button, helps us out a ton. Also, if you want to join us at the Nation, no better time. Many sports going on right now. DGen75 is the promo code. Get you $75 off your first month. As you can see right here, the core package, usually $99. When you use DGen75, all the way down to $24. $75 off. Less than $1 a day. You get SaberSim, you get Late Swap, can build 250 teams, see 150, by far the best optimizer, sims, powerful tool out there. Again, if you have used your core package, we do think starter is the best. After that, you get SaberSim's projections and ownership, you get contest flashbacks, see what the pros are doing, and you're able to build more lineups in your pool. But if you haven't joined at all, I do think the core is the best package. You ain't going to find less than $1 a day for content for all these sports and projections and ownership with SaberSim, with the best community in Discord. We would absolutely love to have you. Like we talked about, so you can. I think most of my teams would be one of Sale, Pavetta, or Clark Schmidt, or Zebby Matthews. Now, there's only really two spend-ups. Povich is really cheap, but I don't love the idea of going Povich and then pairing him with someone that was not named one of those four. Zebby, Clark, Pavetta, Sale. So I think you can punt one, but I don't love the idea of punting both. If I did, like the cheapest I would go is that 77.82, the Clark Schmidt Zebby. I guess that is punting, I guess. But yeah, most of my teams probably want a Pavetta, Sale just because you have all the money to do it. So if we have all the money, though, Gyiraszin, the Yankees, some of them are expensive. Are you going to play any Aaron Judge or them today, taking on the Guardians and Luis Ortiz? Big boy team total 5.48, and we are looking at what are we looking at? 9 total, minus 115 on the under, minus 198 favorites are the Yankees. Take it away. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, this one's really interesting. I think the Yankees, to me, right out the gate, are one of my favorite stacks on the whole slate. I mean, they got the second highest team total, a tenth of a run behind the Twins, pretty much even with the Twins. They get the Guardians at home. You get Luis Ortiz, who from the left side of the plate, he gives up a 323 WOBA. He's got a 38% ground ball rate, a 31% fly ball rate. But the right side, he's at almost like 55% ground balls. He's half the fly ball rate at 15%. His K percentage is there on both sides of the plate, 24%. But he's been walking almost 15% of lefties. And when you can throw some lefties like Grisham, Rice, Bellinger, and getting Jazz back definitely helps. Austin Wells definitely has some power. So, and then, in between them lefties, you got two guys named Judge and Goldschmidt. So to me, I think these Yankees, I mean, you're going to get the Yankees and probably not that. I mean, they're the second highest team total, and they're not probably going to be the second highest owned. When I was sitting there thinking about it, I'm like, man, you're kind of getting a discount on the Yankees today in Yankee Stadium. I mean, I love it. I think the lefties for me are one of my top plays. You got Grisham, Rice. I think they could put a hurting on them Indians real quick.
I like it. I take it. No Guardians. Clark Schmidt's one of your favorite pitchers.
Yeah, I'd probably stay off the Guardians. Schmidt isn't going to probably have enough ownership for me to really, get excited. But man, I mean, truthfully, you can play Jose Ramirez anytime against anybody. That dude's a flat out stud. I mean, he's a future Hall of Famer. But yeah, for me though, Yankees stand out. I really like the lefties. I mean, and that goes to say, like, you could play a Povich and a Schmidt and probably jam you a pretty nice Dodgers and Yankees lineup if you wanted to go that way. And have two of the best hitting teams. And, I don't know if you could jam Judge and Ohtani, but you'd probably be pretty close if you worked it out. But, yeah, I mean, you could even get Mookie in there. But, I really like the Dodgers in that Yankee stack. And maybe, like I said, maybe go with Zebby Matthews and a Povich even if you want to really get different. But yeah, I think it's an interesting way to look at it.
I wouldn't even mind going to Clark Schmidt, Zebby Matthews. Like when people play the Yankees, they're going to probably the first pitcher they're going to plug in is Povich. Projects well, very cheap, makes a lot work. 8,200 for Schmidt. I think Zebby's 77, something right around there. Like you're still not breaking the bank at pitching. You're fading the 3 highest owned, and you're jamming an offense that they're going to get some ownership. But I mean, this looks severely under-owned on a slate like this. Maybe they catch a little steam. Even so, like I just don't – people want Sale and Pivetta, so I get it. Their ownership can't be too high. But with Povich on the slate, pitching being bad, one of the highest team totals on the slate, Ortiz gets beat up from the left side. The righties they have, like Volpe, Judge, Goldie, they got popped. They're easy fillers. Yeah, the Yankees just add up to be probably my favorite stack on the slate when looking at ownership to start it off. So
I think
like
that's what put me over the top title. I mean, I like the Twins. Don't get me wrong. They got a great park, great matchup. But, man, them Yankees, I mean, for as much power as they have all the way up and down that lineup, I love lineups that 1 through 9 are tough.
Yep.
You know, and they're definitely one.
Yep, absolutely. All right, next game on the slate, Toronto Blue Jays, Philadelphia Phillies. 7? No, what am I? Next game that was 9 total again. -112 on the over. So same total, a little more juice on the over. -115 favorites are the Phillies. So yeah, we talked about the Mick Abel. He's the prospect, pitched well last time out. Going against these Blue Jays that you almost never play, I definitely have more interest on the Philly side. Jose Berrios, you want lefties when you attack them. Lefty, 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 lefty. Sure, Marsh at the bottom, whatever, but Phillies are going to roll out probably 5-6 lefties. Their 2 best hitters, Harper, Schwarber, are lefties. Trey Turner hit one yesterday. I mean, talk about a lineup that I can play 1 through 9. I can play this team 1 through 9 and be totally good. They are pretty expensive. Again, well, the main bats you want are expensive. It doesn't matter with this slate and how pitching is. So you can 5-man Phillies. You could play Sale, Povich. 5-man Phillies. There you go. Easy work right there. So yeah, I like Phillies. I think they're probably like number 4 on the list for me. They're just not really getting ownership. When people spend up 5,800, 5,900, 5,700, they're more than likely going to click another team. The Otanis, the Judges, mini something that way. So, and either side, any interest?
Oh, yeah, Phillies, big-time interest in the Phillies. You mentioned the lefties for sure. I really like the lefties. I mean, Philadelphia, I mean, they got low strikeout numbers against righties. I mean, there's only going to be 2 bats over 20% in that lineup. So just looking at, Berrios, you talk about the lefties, Woba, 335 to lefties. Fly ball percentage is kind of low at 21% ground ball, but I mean, you look at some of these Phillies and these fly ball percentages, Stotts, almost 31%, Harper, 33, Schwarber, almost 33, Kepler, 35, Castellanos, 29. So, I mean, they got some fly balls in that lineup, which I definitely like. I'd have the Phillies in my top 3. I mean, right these 2 games, I already like 2 of these lineups. Phillies got it done yesterday. And when Trey Turner's hitting, that lineup just really just takes off, in my opinion. He just adds so much to that lineup. He just adds stress on the base pass, everything else, and it just puts Schwarber and Harper in such a better position for a pitcher to make a mistake. And I'll tell you what, you make a mistake to Schwarber lately, that man's sending it to the next county. So, I mean, Schwarber's just been absolutely smashing. I mean, I know he's not Berrios ain't a lefty, but man, Schwarber's one of these guys. It don't matter who the hell's going up against him. We've seen him smash. So yeah, Phillies for me are definitely up in the top.
I like that shout you said about Trey Turner. I mean, making a pitcher pitch out of the stretch versus the windup to you, having to worry about getting stolen on, like there's a lot more that goes through pitcher's mind with a fast guy on first base. You can't just worry about the hitter at the end of the day. You make a little mistake to Harper, Schwarber behind. I think that's a very good shout. That goes overlooked. Certain teams have certain guys that their lineup does a lot better. Their offense gets rolling a lot more when that individual's getting on base, producing. Trey Turner, definitely the guy in the Phillies lineup. Blue Jays, pretty much the same team total as the Phillies. Can you make a case for any of them? Vladdy, solid in the hitter rankings. Barger. I know you hate playing these guys. This is kind of what we're talking about, like the 1 through 9. I don't like playing 7, 8, 9. on this Blue Jays team much. I'll play Ernie Clement. That's fine. But Kirk, 1 through 6. But yeah, you never play the Blue Jays. I take you're not playing them today.
Yeah, I mean, the Blue Jays, this Mick Abel, like I said at the beginning, he's just kind of an unknown, had a decent start his first time out. But, I mean, the Jays have been hitting. But I think Guerrero is a good one-off. I think he'd be a good one-off. But other than that, I'm not really interested in stacking up the Jays.
I mean, FanDuel, Vlad being 3. I don't think Vlad's been over 3.3K. Yeah, I don't think he's been over that all year.
No, and the Optos love him, man. Every damn day when I'm running Optos, they always got his ass in the fucking one-off in first base.
He's in my cash core, good amount for sure. I mean, his historical numbers at that price tag with that kind of upside, he's gonna pop. Like if he doesn't, tournaments cash way different, of course, but just standing out or just looking at it, that price is just silly and has been all year on FanDuel. All right, next game, Chris Sale, the most popular, highest projected pitcher on the slate, taking on Merrill Kelly and the D-backs. 7.5 total, -112 on the over, -175 favorites are the Braves. I mean, the D-backs got to Strider yesterday, who was chalky. Can they do it again? Obviously, Strider righty, Chris Sale lefty. The guys that did get to to Strider yesterday, Corbin Carroll from the left side, Marte a switch hitter, but hitting from the left side. The Braves against Kelly. You want lefties. You prefer lefties against Kelly than righties. I don't know. I definitely like Phillies more. I definitely like Yankees more. So I guess I'll leave it at that. I'm indifferent to this Braves team. I think Merrill Kelly's a fine real-life pitcher. Nothing excites me about him, but he's tough enough against the right side of the plate that they fall down my list a little bit. What about you?
Yeah, I got to agree with you. I mean, we talked yesterday on the show, Nades and I literally was saying how, yesterday with a couple of them good pitchers that we had, that the winner was going to be from against one of those pitchers. Like one of them was going to get blown up, and that was going to help produce the winner, which, I mean, the D-backs obviously came through with that one yesterday, but I mean, we're sitting at a 7.5 total. I mean, if you wanted to go after Sale, I mean, you could go after him on the right side of the plate if you wanted to look at. He does give up a big WOBA 343 to the lefties, 309 to righties, but his fly ball percentage is 34% to 21% from righty to lefty. So, guys like Gurriel, Grichuk, maybe Eugenio, maybe you could look at Marte, but Sale does have the leverage if you wanted to use a D-back. I think you get some leverage off that. I think maybe if you wanted to go a mini, maybe you could do that with the D-backs. But I think on a 12-game slate with some of the offenses we have, some of the shitty pitchers we have, I think it's a little bit of a stretch, but I think it's in play. But we still got to remember it's got a total of 7.5.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Next game on the slate, also a pretty low total. Well, I guess not. Rangers and the Rays, 8.5, -112 on the under, -130 favorites are the Rays. Again, this is one of the two weather concerns, yellow-orange as of now. It's always warm in Tampa. Yeah, 80 degrees, wind blowing out to left a little bit. I'll throw it right to you. I prefer Rays if having to choose. You want the lefties against this rocker guy in a limited sample size. I don't play the Rays very often, but man, they've been hitting the ball a little bit lately. So any Rangers, any Rays.
Yeah, I think you're going to see more of a bullpen game from the Rangers. From what I was reading, I saw Rocker didn't have much of a rehab start. It was like 50-some pitches. So definitely concerning there. I think it's going to be a pretty much of a bullpen game. I mean, we like the park down there in Tampa. I mentioned yesterday, Caminero has been hitting the shit out of the baseball lately. But I think you're going to get more of a bullpen game with some shitty weather. I would rather have I'd rather have the Tampa side. I mean, Baz has, doesn't have really the strikeouts against the righties, 16%, where he's 29% to lefties. But, I think Baz, you could pick on him if you'd like. I do like Corey Seager. I think Corey Seager grades out pretty well today. I do like him as a one-off, but really, other than that, I don't see any reason to full stack. Maybe you could mini cut these two, but yeah, I'm not really wanting to full stack them.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. Saber has Rocker at 75 pitches. projected pitches. Again, who knows at the end of the day? Like you said, he didn't go long in his rehab start, and even prior when he pitched this year in April, 68 pitches, 78 pitches, 63 pitches. So I think I lean more toward your like 75 feels a little too bullish. Maybe like 50, 55, and then a bullpen game that way, like you're saying. Yeah, he is 9K. What a crazy slate for pitching. What's going on, Metro? Yeah, that's why you always hit the subscribe button. It was originally 1, had to move it up 30 minutes. But yeah, hit that like button. We appreciate it. That subscribe button will always notify you when you go live. If you're in the Discord, media alerts, we always tag when we're going live for all the shows as well. So, and again, if you're not in the Discord, how to join? No better time. DGen75, usually $99, all the way down to $24 using the code DGen75 for your first month. All the content, Discord, and Saber Sim, the absolute greatest trio out there. So we would love to have you. DGen75 is the promo code. Next game on the slate. Oh, also, if you like some MMA, big boy pay-per-view this week, Gyiraszin, Marab, me and Big Marley will be talking fights in 50 minutes, 4 Eastern time. Myself and Big Marley on this channel if you want to join. All right, next game, Gyirazin's Detroit Tigers taking on the Chicago White Sox. Best team in baseball. They looked like it yesterday, didn't they, Gyiraszin?
Yeah, they didn't look like it yesterday, but hey, it's a long season. They got the only guy that's even got a lifeline over there in the White Sox got to him a little bit yesterday, and I was still sitting there thinking, all right, well, we still got the last few innings here to get to that bullpen, which I think we're going to see a good portion of today.
Yes,
is the bullpen. But I'll tell you what really shocked me, like I said, was when they pinch hit Kerry Carpenter yesterday after 3 home runs. I was like, if for Ibanez, I was like, what the hell are we doing here? But I'm not going to question Hinch. He's pushing a lot of the right buttons since he's been here. So I'll let him slide on that one. I didn't quite agree with that one, but I think the Tigers are definitely going to be in my top 5 of stacks today. I mean, they're like 4th in runs in baseball quietly. They are, obviously have the most wins in baseball. Here they get a shit ass White Sox team. They just put up a stinker. I think the Tigers are definitely in play today. I don't like them as much as I did yesterday, actually, because I think there's some other spots here today that I like a little bit more. But Tigers for me yesterday were my pivot off of the Twins. It just didn't pan out for me yesterday. I had some Tigers paired up with some Phillies. This didn't quite pan out. But, I mean, I think Tigers definitely play. I like the lefties of the Tigers because the White Sox got a little bit more righties in their bullpen than they do lefties.
I like the Tigers. I mean, why would you not against one of the worst bullpens in baseball when their starters projected to go? Saber has him 40 pitches. So he's going to go, one time through the order, and then you're going to get the worst bullpen in baseball? And they used some arms on Monday. I know Detroit beat them up pretty good there. Good start for Shane Smith yesterday. Good.
I think Schuster goes 1 inning.
Yeah,
so I'm not too concerned. That's why I like the lefty. I think they're going to bring in some righties right after. So, I mean, I wouldn't sleep on him just because you see a lefty with Schuster starting. I don't think he's going to be in there very long. I think he's just an opener.
He ain't even good anyway. Lefty, Parker Meadows, Riley Green, Carpenter. I mean, Cole Keith, they can hit a lefty too. So I think the Tigers are very interesting. They're probably one of my favorite stacks. Them or Phillies, if you had to pick.
And now what could happen, though, I haven't seen the lineup come out yet, but you could see a lineup where you get like Wenzel Perez, Andy Ibanez in there, and I'd lay caution to that because they're going to get pinch hit for it pretty quickly.
It's a good shout. I will say, not great hitting weather, only 60 degrees. A little humid at least, but a lot of places 75, 80 around the country today. I mean, it's still the White Sox. It's a bad bullpen. It's a good lineup. It's pretty low owned. Doesn't break the bank. I think a lot makes sense for the Tigers. So I'm with you.
Dinkler's a great hitting catcher too. You get for really cheap if you're over there on DK.
Yep. All right, we'll keep it rolling. Next game on the slate, the most concerning when it comes to weather: St. Louis Cardinals and the Royals. This is again red for Roth. Mikolas, Noah Cameron on the mound. 8.5 total, minus 118 on the under. If we get the green light in this game, I am always fine picking on Miles Mikolas, especially when there is zero ownership. Oh, I guess people are – I don't think I believe this ownership. Let me say it that way. People are going to play the Twins. Yes, these guys are cheap. India, Vinny P, all that. You can play a team for 1.5 runs higher, implied runs higher. That like people are going to play Jeffers over Selvey, all that, etc. So I don't believe this ownership. I think they're going to be all single digits. Mikolas misses no bats. He's worse against lefties, but I'll play Bobby Witt all day, any day. Vinny P, Selvey. Talking right here, one of the biggest prospects in baseball. And, man, he ripped his first at bat right in the gap. What a play. I think it was Victor Stott. Had a great jump on it, made a great play in center, but this kid can hit. There's no doubt about that.
He had all 5 balls in play, didn't get a hit.
Yeah. Hey, just one of those. That's the variance in baseball, but he left that game feeling pretty good about himself. Like he's seeing the ball
too, man. That dude's a big dude.
Yeah.
And I was telling Nate yesterday, I was talking with some friends, about the state of baseball overall. Man, I don't remember. I've been watching baseball a long time, and I don't remember an influx of talent that's come in the last few years. If we've seen, in the recent times, I mean, damn. I mean, some of these kids that are coming up are taking right off. Like
what about Matt Holliday? What about Matt Holliday's?
Man.
Matt Holliday's got the best sperm of all time. Hey,
Jackson,
right. And now his other son's going to be the first round pick pick in the draft this year.
Yeah, he definitely got him a retirement package. Maybe we got to give a little credit to the wife. She might be a breeder.
That too. Not that he needed. I mean, Matt Holliday could hit back in the day. BP and on the tee and all that. No one better coaching you than Matt Holliday all those years. So yeah, shout out to the Holliday family. Seeing the other son be the first pick soon will be pretty cool. But I think the Royals are interesting. I love Jack Cup. I love him coming to the lineup. Go ahead. I
was gonna say this is about the only day I actually have him as my low owned stack. But you were saying they're gonna be a little higher owned because I was thinking nobody's gonna play him because
I don't think they're gonna be higher owned. We're showing I think higher owned than they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be low owned, especially with the weather concern. Like they are not gonna be owned. They are not gonna be owned.
Right. Bobby Witt grades out really well. Bobby Witt be one of my favorite bats on the slate.
Any Cardinals?
The Cardinals have been hitting. Yesterday put up 7 runs. I'm just not there with them today. Cameron hasn't really shown he's gonna. I mean, I respect Cameron enough, and like you said, a little bit of weather issues. I didn't have much love for the Cardinals today.
I agree with you. And again, that game is orange. Very well, like you very well might not be able to play any Royals. But if you do get a little green light or Raw thinks it could play. Yeah, I think some of these are very interesting. Play them in chalkier stuff. You're playing the Twins, mix in Royals mini stack. Like you can eat chalk at pitching. You can really do whatever you want. So I like it. All right, next game on the slate, Baltimore Orioles, Seattle Mariners, 8.5 total, -112 on the under, straight pick 'em. Can you make a case for any of these Mariners against a chalky Cade Povich? And then we just talked about Holiday, Jackson Holiday, any of these guys on the O's.
I mean, you can play Cal Riley any day. He's basically getting into Mookie territory for me. Riley, he's got 434 WOBA against lefties. So, yeah, I wouldn't sleep on Cal Riley today. I think Povich is going to be pretty popular, as you said. But, yeah, you can play Cal Riley any day. I wouldn't get a little crazy with the Mariners, but Cal Riley definitely would be a good one-off if you weren't going to play Povich.
That's it on either side. No O's.
Man, the O's just can't hit out of a damn paper bag lately. They've been just not good at all. Hancock sucks too. You can't get anybody out. You can't strike anybody out. You'd like to like some O's. I just don't like the park. I just think there's better spots, and the O's just haven't been hitting. But if I was probably doing a bigger pool, I'd probably include some O's just because Hancock stinks. But yeah, I don't have them up there high enough for me and to play them in 1 or 2, 3 teams.
No, I don't either. Like just growing up, I even prefer the Royals. I definitely prefer the Tigers. I prefer the Braves, who I didn't even like that much. I prefer the Phillies. I prefer the Yanks. We still got a couple games left, so I'm in agreement. I don't love the O's much. To be honest, I think I like Hancock more as a pivot off of Povich down low. But then I look at the pitcher ranking at 21, and then I I almost want to bite my tongue and go back on that statement. So I'll just say no Hancock, no O's really. Hope it's just the 2-3 runs that he gives up and neither is optimal. All right, yeah. Colton Cowser, I don't mind that. All right, 3 games left. Yep, 3 games left. One very tough to get to any bats for me. Nick Pivetta, Kyle Harrison on the mound. Giants and the Padres, 7 total, the lowest on the slate, minus 118 on the over. Minus 115 favorites are the Padres. I like some Harrison as a pivot. I like Pivetta up top. I ain't playing either offense. Yeah, that's all I got. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, you could pass on the offense. I mean, Machado does hit lefties fairly well. But other than that, I don't think there's anything there.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like I would just rather like play the Mariners over any of these teams just to get direct leverage. Like if my team, if I do win, I want a percent of the pitching pool, 25%, whatever it is, to be dead and get double leverage that way. You would get some leverage with the Giants against Pivetta, but I'd rather pick on Cade Povich than Nick Pivetta, especially when ownership might be a little similar. So yeah, I can't make a case for that game. Prefer the pitchers. All right, the chalk of the slate, Twins and the A's. Zebby Matthews, Sean Newcomb on the mound. 10 total, highest on the slate, minus 115 on the over. Take it away. What are you doing in this one?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be fairly chalky. I mean, it's getting to the point now. Anytime the A's are at home, we're going to have to, I don't care probably who it is at this point. I mean, the A's bullpen is just horrific. You know, that park is yielding up runs left and right. You know, Nades brought up a good point yesterday, too. I mean, you get a lot of these major league parks got stands on stadium all the way around it. A lot of these minor league parks do not. So, you know, it's just a lot better hitter conditions, especially in that Sacramento warm air you got out there. So, yeah, I mean, just because of that, I have the Twins ranked up high. I mean, they put up a bunch of, 10 runs yesterday. So, I mean, Buxton, top bat of the slate again. I like Jeffers, but I will lay caution. You got to watch some of these guys. I think there's pinch hit risk here too, kind of like with the Tigers. You could see some of these Twins get pinch hit for, especially some of those righties. So I just lay a little caution to that. But other than that, I think the Twins are just ready to, lock and load. I mean, Castro's even been hitting down there below. If Royce Lewis to get his head out of his ass, Correa should be pretty popular. But Buxton, Jeffers, and Correa, for me, really stand out. You're on Donkey mute. Hey, Donkey, you're on mute.
Gyiraszin, I knew I was, but my computer was stalling and slow, and I couldn't click anything. Yeah, I was like, no shit, I know that. I literally can't click anything on my screen. Yeah, Jonah Bride, a little revenge narrative if you want that against the A's. I say it as a joke. Revenge means absolutely nothing in baseball. People can argue it means nothing in any sport. I would argue basketball, it means a little, due to the ability to shoot whenever you want, especially for point guards. But that's a whole different tangent. Jonah Bride did play for the A's, though. Yeah, Twins are the chalk of the slate. If you play them, I probably, again, would max one of Pavich, Sale, Pivetta, because then you're at least forcing yourself to get different at one other pitcher spot, and then you can find minis and stuff like that that are pretty low on. Like yesterday, the Twins did great. They were on the winner in a lot of stuff. The D-backs mini stack, Marte Carroll specifically, was what you needed. So you played a chalkier team with lowish owned pitching because the chalk kind of busted. And then you play a low owned mini stack. The mini stack carries you. The chalk does good. You get a little different at pitching. I would do the same thing again with the Twins today. But, I mean, yesterday they're implied for like 6.2 runs. Today's 5.48 runs. And there's a lot of good offenses on the slate. So I think they're like 3 or 4 for me at ownership. I prefer the Yankees. Probably prefer the Phillies. I do prefer the Tigers. I got Yankees, Tigers 1-2 right now, but a lot of that has to do with ownership. So if you play the Twins, just think about how you play them is what I got. All right, last game of the slate. Again, appreciate everyone hanging out. Like button helps us out a ton. Subscribe button as well. We had Golf Show, Hoop and Tambo, us talking some MLB, me and Big Marley talking some MMA after this. Look at this. Hoop Tambo, me, you, Big Marley, and I. GS Luke talking PGA tomorrow. Locks early. 4 shows on the channel. Subscribe button lets you get notified when we go live. Last game of the night, another 10 total. New York Mets, Los Angeles Dodgers, -110 on both sides for the over-under of 10. -148 favorites are the Dodgers. Griffin Canning, Tony Gonsolin on the mound. All I got to see is Griffin Canning against this Dodgers lineup with pitching not mattering, with salary not really mattering. Yeah, I'm in on these Dodgers for sure. I think the Mets might be a little interesting too, because look at the price tag on like a Lindor, a Soto, Alonso. All these other guys are very cheap, but these three, if you want to play them, have to be low owned. People will go to the Dodgers. People will go to the Yankees. People will spend up at pitching. Like they're the pivot of the pivot of the pivot are the Mets. And they have enough cheap bats. If you did want a 5-man stack them, the other bats aren't breaking the bank by any means. So yeah, I'm really curious to hear your take in this one. Again, second highest total on the slate at 10.
Yeah, I liked it going against Griffin Canning for sure. I mean, the Dodgers to me are one of my favorite stacks. I'd have them up there in my top handful as well. I mean, obviously Ohtani going to be one of the top bats on the slate. Freddie Freeman as well. But Canning, I mean, this guy does keep the ball on the ground a little bit, mid 50% range to both sides of the plate. But I mean, this guy he's just not very good. We've been picking on him for the last few years. So for me, definitely like that Dodger lineup. And then you mentioned the Mets here. I think Soto's pretty interesting. I mean, Gonsolin isn't missing any bats on the left side of the plate. He's walking a lot of dudes. He's got a 238 ISO, a 411 WOBA to the left side. I mean, I think Soto could get to him here pretty easily. I think you could see some runs in this game happen really quick. I think this game, I mean, first time around the lineup, you could see each team have a few runs here, in my opinion. But, yeah, I actually like the first 5 over is what I'm going to be looking at, first 5 innings.
I like it.
But, yeah, for me, I think the Dodgers are in a great spot. And then, Nimmo, Soto, I mean, even Alonso. I mean, I like the power up there at the top of that Mets lineup. But, yeah, I think both sides of this game are interesting. But Dodgers, for me, are one of my favorites.
If I had to pick a game stack, it's this one. And, again, it's not hard to do. I'll play Zebby Matthews and Cade Povich and play all the bats in the world on both sides. And if this game scores 15-16, pitching doesn't do really what it's supposed to. Like everyone scores less than 20. It easily could be on the winner that way. Now your bubble will be on the far left most of the time. If you're like Hoop, you'll wake up, hopefully get more cheese in your pocket. Myself, I'm always pretty much in bed by the time the game's end, even at the West Coast. So yeah, like wake up, full game stack it, and see where you go from there. So yeah, I like both sides. Mets lefties, Dodgers 1 through 9. Sign me up. Absolutely. I like it, Josh. Povich and Boz. Do be on the lookout for Boz, though, due to the weather. So yellow-orange right now. Roth has it, but I like it. Gyiraszin, final thoughts before we get on out of here on this 10-game DK and FanDuel slate that could be 9, could be 8. Let's hope all of them stay. Again, last time, St. Louis, KC, it's orange. Yellow, orange for Texas, Tampa. Everything else looks good to go. You're on the slate plan. Your chords, everything will be up. Final thoughts?
Yeah, interesting slate. Like you said, watch that weather. I mean, I've said it numerous times in that MLB app, 10, 15 minutes before the game. If it says warm up, they're out on the field. And you know that game's going to happen. If it's still sitting there and you're 5 minutes, 10 minutes before, they're not warming up. It's about to go in a delay or, you got a PPD chance. So definitely a little trick there that I like to look at it just to make sure a lot of times, just to make sure they're warming up. But yeah, interesting slate today. I think, yesterday I tried to stay away from them Twins. I'm going to try to do the same today. I think Povich's is definitely key to the slate. If you want to stack against him, as you mentioned, you're going to be, or you fade him. I think he's going to be in about the 25% range, especially at that price. So I think Povich is definitely interesting. If I'm going to play 2 or 3 lineups, I'll probably have one Povich and I'm just going to leave him out on the other, if as far as DK, but on FanDuel, I think Clark Schmidt and Zebby Matthews for me are looking really interesting.
Yeah, I like it. Very good question. Very tough. So just say you're stacking Dodgers and the Mets. You're picking Mookie. You're picking Lindor. I mean,
me to pick against my favorite player.
Yeah. Come on, my bad. I wish someone else was on the show.
I'd like to see how it shakes out. I'd rather see if I could jam Soto in there instead of Lindor, to be true.
Well, just say you're playing both. Just say you're playing Povich, like in Zebby, and you have all the money in the world. You have a shortstop at 5,600 and Lindor, shortstop at 5,300 with Mookie. So just say you had the 300. You're going Mookie. Is your favorite player.
Yeah, I'd go Mookie.
There you go. If I had to pick, I would go.
Mookie does have I think he's got a bum foot, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't he break a toe? I think he broke his toe. Mookie.
I was going to say Lindor if I had to pick, because Lindor's been swinging a hot stick and Mookie's been very poor. So it makes sense if he's dealing with a broken toe, dealing with something like that.
I think he broke it like 3 or 4 days ago. He did come back yesterday, and everybody was saying, oh, man, he's like Superman, that he came back so quick. I know if I had a freaking bum toe, I probably couldn't even swing my damn golf club, let alone hit a Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I'll go Lindor. I was going to say Lindor, period. The lefties against Gyiraszin. I like the Mets at the ownership. You can't go wrong with either by any means, but Lindor's been hotter. I'll side with him, guaranteed ninth inning at bat. Flip a coin, though, at the end of the day. All right, Gyiraszin. Again, hope everything goes well tonight with the appointment. Awesome stuff, talking some baseball. An hour talking 10 games on FanDuel, DraftKings. Everything will be up, again, under MLB, hitter rankings, pitcher rankings, projections, ownership, all that good stuff. If you want to join us at the Nation, again, DGen75 is the code. Get you $75 off for your first month. All the content, SaberSim and Discord. Only $24 for your first month. That's going to do it for us. Big Marley and I will be live in 30 minutes talking some MMA. We'll be back tomorrow talking some baseball. For Gyiraszin, I'm Titletown. Good luck. Be safe. Peace.